Well, thank you so much. I have the Barney family with me. A part of the Barney family is here. Keanna is here and Jamie mom is here. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Keanna, tell me about that color shirt you have on today. That's a very special, well, first of all, you look cute as a button, but there's a reason you have purple on. What's purple for?
The color of lupus.
The color of lupus. That's the color they use, isn't it? Jamie, we have quite a story to tell.
Yes.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. What happened?
Well, it was the day after Christmas. She was 4. She was at Dad's house, and they gave me a call because she was really sick. So I was like, okay, I'll come and get her. So I took her home, and then the next day she was just, like a feather, like she just couldn't do anything.
Okay.
So I took her in, and they're like, she needs to go down and get admitted. So we came down here.
What was going through your mind? Did you think she just had like a virus or something?
I just thought she had the flu, like a bad flu.
All right.
So then they admitted her. They did a bunch of tests, and her liver enzymes were like sky high. They were over 70, and they're supposed to be in the 40s.
Okay.
So they're like, well, you're not going to go anywhere until we can get those down. So they kept poking and prodding, and being 4, it was hard because there was times they couldn't get the IV in. So then they even tried her foot. I'm like, you guys got to stop, So then they finally, got it. And then one of the tests that came back was the ANA, which is your autoimmune testing. It's supposed to be 140 or lower. Hers was just a little over 140. And so I was like, well, what is ANA? I was confused. And that is something that can attack your body.
Okay.
Like when you're sick, how we can get over being sick, her body attacks it. Like it's the opposite. So, and then ever since then, every 6 to 8 months, definitely twice a year, we would be going in and getting her ANA levels checked. And then they went up to 160 and then 164. And they've been at 164 for 8 years. So, and that leads into, like I said, your autoimmune deficiency. So she can catch a cold really fast. And then one of it is for lupus and rheumatoid arthritis.
She started a new medication.
Yesterday.
Okay.
Called Plaquenil. It is for lupus and rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
Since they haven't seen a change in 8 years, and the last few years, her arthritis has gotten a little worse. We have seen specialists in Madison because we don't have a pediatric rheumatoid arthritis doctor here.
Okay.
So we have been to Madison. We've been seeing the same doctor for 8 years, Dr. Bartosh. She's wonderful. She comes up here from Madison. She's a nephrologist, which is odd because it's like for kidneys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at first that's what they thought maybe something was wrong. So, like I said, she's been helping us out. She's amazing.
It sounds to me like things are kind of evening out right now.
Yes.
However, when she was 9 years old, is it okay if I ask you about this? Something super, super scary happened to you guys.
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I was at work. It was in the winter. I remember it was January. And I get a phone call, and it was the school nurse saying that Keanna had fell, that she hit her head. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll come and get her. I'll take her in. And so when I got to school here, I thought maybe she'd be in the nurse's office. Well, she was out at lunch. And so from the time I left work, which was in Onalaska, and I went to West Salem, she didn't know who I was. She just kind of looked at me.
Your daughter didn't know who you were?
No.
What went through your head?
I was scared. I was completely scared. I think I made it to the Onalaska clinic, and it felt like 2 minutes, and I'm just talking to her. And so we get to the clinic, and she knew nothing. They were asking her questions. She didn't know anything, so we had to go down to the hospital, and once again, she got admitted. And the part of her head that she hit was your memory part. She knew I was mom. She didn't know my name. What hurt me the most was when her dad got there. She looked at him, really confused. He crawled up in bed with her, hugged her, and he's like, I'm Dad, my name's Andy, because she didn't know our names. And so that was one of the hardest, was seeing her dad, because them two are bonded. They're very connected.
And that's your 9-year-old little girl.
Yes.
And all these strange, scary, horrible things are happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
How long was she in the hospital then?
2 days.
Okay.
I believe it was 2 days. We had MRIs done. We had EEGs done. We had, everything. We had everything done. And they're not sure if she had a seizure and just fell or if she tripped. We're not sure. Because she started having seizures on top of everything. And that can also be caused from lupus. So
You've had a real education with lupus, haven't you?
Yes. We have.
And you too, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about, how old are you?
12.
Let's talk about what school you go to.
West Salem.
And I think you like to do sports, is that right? Tell me a little bit about some of the things you like to do.
I like to play soccer.
Soccer, okay. All right. And what position do you play?
Offense.
Oh, of course you do. Well, good for you. Now, you're missing some class today, aren't you? What are some of the classes you're missing today at school?
Choir, PE, and reading.
So would you like to say something to your teachers that you're doing something very important today and that's why you're missing? And thank you for giving you the opportunity of being with us today.
Thank you.
See, there you go. See, that'll get her off the hook. I'm sure it will. So Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, why don't you give that back to Mom? Did you hear the organization before you guys needed the organization?
Yes. I have another daughter who's been in the hospital for hip surgery. So that's how and she's 15. So I've known about it for, the 15 years. And one of my biggest things that I'm thankful for is because when you have an emergency and you come into...
That's a good noise.
Yeah. The hospital, there was one time I forgot my purse. I had nothing, and I didn't want to leave her side. Like, the 4 days she was in, I didn't leave. I actually had to be pushed out of the room to go home, and I literally went home, showered, and I was back. And the CMN, they give you food vouchers, for families, and that was a big relief, We have gotten gas gift cards to go to Madison. And I think some people, they don't like to ask. Like, I was just like, but we know they're here to help. They help with, I know they had asked, because we had to spend the night a few times in Madison, and they asked, if we needed a hotel. And I was like, no, I work in a hotel. So, I can get the discount. But they ask, they do that. And I know with my other daughter, when she was in a hip spica cast and it was hard to transport her, they do actually, they can help with transportation, so it was a relief. And
so this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask for some help.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to ask for some help from our listeners at 608-784 KIDS or 608-784-5437. Now, we have a bunch of folks who have been helping behind the scenes. We have Carrie Heating and Air Conditioning. That's our daily sponsor today. So Jen and Joan and Marv and Bill, these are real people that live in the community, real people that support Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So we're going to ask them because our Authenticon team is over here. Hi, you guys! And what they've been doing is they've been answering the phones. I don't know if you know this, Keanna, but the phones have been ringing while you've been talking. And that means people are calling in for pledges, and they're putting their money where the miracles are. And I think you're a miracle. You are a beautiful young lady. And you know what? To look at your daughter, you wouldn't know.
no.
You wouldn't know the struggles. But for you guys coming out here with us today and sharing your stories, first of all, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super hard to share that story when you were 9 years old and fell. And, you know, you probably have no memory of that at all. You can't probably even remember, but your mom and dad do. They remember. And you also remember the good things that happen. I have seen families walk up and down the Gunderson Health System hallways, and I know what they look like. I've seen vouchers and the food vouchers, and I see them going down to the cafeteria. So that means that they're probably here with their families in a hospital. Today we have 12 little preemie babies in a NICU. There's 12 upstairs right now, and then we have one in the PICU that is receiving some really needed care. These are families. Their life is turned upside down. Now, when you were running back and forth to the hospital, what happens at home? Things are upside down.
Yes. Yep. And I have, 2 other girls. So at the same time, I felt bad, because I was down here a lot, but they understood. They were down here with me. They actually would spend the night down here with me. And they used to have a family room, for when families stayed in the hospital. And I took it, but I didn't sleep in it. So I was like, you can go ahead and just open it up and give it to another family. I don't want to leave. So I slept on the wonderful couches, the old couches they had. But yeah, I wasn't leaving.
So what would you do if somebody, and there are people out there, there's a few of them that have not heard of Children's Miracle Network hospitals, if they were listening today and saying, you know what, should I give or shouldn't I give, what would you say to them?
They should give, because it does help the whole community. It helps a lot for the families that are in need, last minute things. Yeah.
Well, and you've just said that from the heart.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for coming in today. Authenticon, you're going to be with us a couple hours today. You're spending some time with us. That's important. We appreciate every one of you so much. 608-784-KIDS. And Bittersweet Flowers. Look at this gorgeous flower arrangement. What they're doing this year, and this is brand new, hashtag Bittersweet, the number 4 kids. Every time somebody does that, hashtag Bittersweet 4 kids, they donate another $1. And that will add up and add up and add up. Okay, you got to go to school, honey. Okay? Now, what we can do next year, what's that? There's a class that you would like to miss in the afternoon. What was that class?
English.
English? Okay. We'll see if we can get your schedule next year and see if we can get you here during English class. We shouldn't say that because somebody's not going to be happy with us. But anyway, you guys are wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course.
We did meet a wonderful couple last week. Who actually do a nonprofit organization around here for lupus. It's the Lupus Alliance, and they do have a website. It's locallupus.org, and you can go on there and learn a lot about the lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. That's a big one, is the rheumatoid arthritis. Like yesterday, Keanna had a hard time getting out of bed because her joints hurt all the time, and today. But she's a fighter, like you said. And that couple, Richard and Renee Chris, actually told me that to be kind because they look normal, but we know on the inside they're hurting. So you never know what's wrong with somebody. So always just be kind.
I can't think of better advice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're listening to the Children's Miracle Network Hospital's Radiothon 2017 edition. We're at Gunderson Health System lobby. Stop by and see us. We are a service of the La Crosse Media Group.